The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio 1250 and 930, the voice of the Pirate Nation. Pirate fans, welcome to the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Post-Game Call-In Show, brought to you by U.S. Cellular. Be sure to visit one of ECU graduate Brandon Tate's Platinum-certified U.S. Cellular stores and experience the highest standard of customer service. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. Now, with a complete recap of the game and your phone calls live from the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Holmes, here's your host of the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter, Clip Brock.
Here we go again. The U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Call-In Show is on the air for another year, taking your calls on the East Carolina season opening victory, 52-38. Pirates pile up the points, they pile up the yards, they pile up the stats. ODU did the same. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions, a lot of conversation about the defense, Rick Smith and his debut at defensive coordinator, and I'm sure we'll talk about the crazy numbers East Carolina put up on Old Dominion tonight at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Pirates moved to 1-0 on the season. We are taking your calls on the Vantage South Bank Live Line, 317-1250, 252-317-1250 is the number. We'll also read your messages on the Boneyard Banner 5th Quarter message board and the HoistTheColors.net 5th Quarter message board. And check us out on the Pirate Radio Facebook page and Pirate Radio Twitter account. We'll read your your comments from there as well. We got a huge show coming your way. The Wings Over Greenville is here. We'll take a timeout, kick things off. Give us a call, 317-1250. We'll get to your calls right after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Postgame Call-In Show is brought to you by CPW's in Autovola Market Cafe, CPW's in the Stanton Square Shopping Center, and Autovola Market on Red Banks Road. Pirates supporting pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Holmes, and the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Call-In Show. Now with the Bojangles scoreboard, here's Shirley Rhodes.
All right, let's take a rundown of some of the finals from earlier today. Oklahoma shut out Louisiana Monroe 34-0. Texas A&M gets by Rice 52-31. Penn State was the winner over Syracuse 23-17. Virginia beats BYU by a field goal 19-16 was that final. Notre Dame was the winner over Temple 28-6. It was Michigan beating up on Central Michigan 59-9. Oklahoma State beat Mississippi State 21-3. Duke shuts out North Carolina Central 45-0. Oregon spanks Nicholls State 66-3. It was Alabama winning over Virginia Tech 35-10. Texas State beat Southern Miss 22-15. McNeese State beat up on South Florida, the final there, 53-21. And Oregon State was upset by Eastern Washington earlier today. That final was 49-46. Games going on right now in the fourth quarter. Marshall comfortably ahead of Miami, Ohio. 52-14 is that score. Auburn leads Washington State 31-24. And UAB and Troy are now tied 31 apiece in overtime. And Baylor, comfortable lead over Wofford. It's 66-3 in that game in the fourth quarter. Western Kentucky has a 35-20 lead over Kentucky. And Wyoming trails Nebraska by a score of 31-21. And that's a look at your Bojangles scoreboard, brought to you by Bojangles, where they're serving up those awesome new home-style tenders. They're mild, juicy, boneless, whole breast, select tenderloin fillets. They've got big flavor, and they're less spicy. Just ask for the new home-style tenders when you stop by any Bojangles. It's bow time. Now let's head back in to the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter postgame call-in show. One more quick score. Clemson leading Georgia 28-21 in the third quarter as well. Clip?
Yeah, Clemson just hit a big touchdown pass. Shirley, hopefully people were paying attention there. It all started the other night with Towson beating UConn. Then last night we see North Dakota State knock off Kansas State. You just talked about McNeese State hanging, 56 on South Florida?
53, actually.
53 and knocking off the Bulls. And then, who was the other one? Eastern Washington knocking off Oregon State?
Yeah, and Oregon State was ranked 25th. I mean, 49-46 was that score.
The theme of Week 1 has been FCS teams pulling the upsets, and East Carolina escapes tonight, 52-38, the final. Just some absolutely insane numbers in this football game. And looking at just a few of the stats on the UBE stat sheet before we get to the calls, 317-1250, got a couple lines open. We'll get to Andy and Wayne in just a moment. Shane Carden, 46 of 54, 447 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Justin Hardy, he finishes with only 16 catches, had 191 yards. Devon Grayson has 3 touchdowns on 4 catches. He's the Chris Carter of East Carolina. All he does is catch touchdowns. Just unbelievable stats. The teams combined for 52 first downs. Total yards, East Carolina 481, ODU 460, and offensive just fireworks all night at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Both defenses leaving a lot to be desired on the field tonight under the lights at the Fick. 317-1250 is the number. We'll keep running down the crazy UBE stats as the night continues. The Wings over Greenville is here, by the way, and there is no better way than to wrap up an ECU victory by watching some great football and eating wings over Greenville. Call 758-WING. We got the boneless wings, Shirley, and we got your favorite, the waffle fries, garlic parm, and Cajun flavored. And you cannot go wrong with those, I promise you. They also have ribs as well. 758-WING. That is the post-game tailgate. This is how we do it every week.
This is how we celebrate a Pirate win. But not only that, I just want to put a shout out to the guys that come into the studio a little late. I'm not giving up my waffle fries. I'm just putting that out there.
Shout out to I guess AT, maybe Pays, and Josh. Too bad the waffle fries are gone already, boys.
Yeah, I locked the doors, by the way, so they can't get in and get to my fries.
317-1250, the number. The first call on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show for 2013 goes to Andy in Greenville. Hey, Andy. Andy, you with us? Andy will not be the first call. And if Andy's not able to fulfill his duties as first call on the 2013 U.S. Cellular fifth quarter, then we go to Wayne in Chocowinity. Hello, Wayne.
Hey, all right, I'll take that honor. That's awesome.
There you go, Wayne.
Look, I like what I saw tonight. I liked Shane Carden, like it. Justin Hardy, I like what I see there. Grayson, just awesome stuff on the offensive side. And with ODU, I was actually impressed with what I saw from them tonight. They're going to be a team to reckon with down the road. I really feel like. But proud of the Pirates tonight. Defense, Rick Smith's got some work to do this week. We got to do some talking there, get some things straightened out. But I'm not going to be all negative. It's first game of the year, and looking to many more wins. And I'm just proud of the Pirates tonight. Makes you happy to start off the season this way.
Yeah, Wayne, I mentioned all those teams that lost to FCS schools. It's much better to be 1-0. A lot of confusion on the defensive side of the ball, especially early in the game. Guys didn't know where to line up. They were looking to the sidelines. Coach Ruff had to burn a timeout. And then we saw the same thing on offense with an illegal substitution. Then Ruff had to burn a timeout on offense. A lot of confusion, but especially on the defensive side of the ball. I'm hoping that kind of stuff can get cleared up, and maybe some signals were crossed in Week 1. But, Wayne, hopefully we can clear that up for Week 2 and beyond.
Yeah, definitely. It's, we hope that we got Thursday game coming right up, so we want to get in there and definitely get that corrected. And don't want to start down that road of all these extra penalties. I wasn't happy about those things, but it's all right. It's all good. It's a win. It's painted purple tonight, and we're happy to be able to lay the head down and with a Pirate win.
There you go, Wayne. Thanks for kicking off our 2013 season.
Thank you.
All right, there's Wayne in Chocowinity, the first call of 2013, and a good one at that. We got a couple of lines open, 317-1250. We will now stay in Greenville and talk to Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. My boy Troy D told me to give you guys a call tonight and tell you my thoughts on the game.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I thought in the beginning it was slow running with the defense. They were letting us down a lot. And, we pulled through in the second half. We're a second half team this year apparently again. They're going to tear our nerves up when we play the ACC, but that's okay. James Carden, threw almost 400 yards, over 400 yards. Incredible. Glad to have him back. And Hardy came through again, and our freshmen are incredible. Can't wait to see them progress. Boyd Simmons on the line. I have to give him a shout out. Incredible. He's on the Outlook watch for top interior linemen in the nation. Not sure if our Pirate Nation knows that. Number 70 on the front line, one of the top linemen in the country, and he is special. But had a great time tonight. I'm glad football's back, and just need our defense to progress a little more. And if we step up and blitz a little, I think, get on that ball in the fourth quarter, we finally stepped up to it and got them. So I'm ready.
All right, Jenny, good call. Jenny in Greenville talking about the Pitbull Will Simmons on the Outland watch list. And I'll tell you what, East Carolina, the rushing yards were not great. Tay Cooper, 12 carries, 38 yards, and also had a fumble. Corey Hunter finished with just 2 carries for 7 yards. And I will say this, pass protection was good. Shane Carden had all day to throw. And then when it did break down, Shane was able to do it with his legs. It was backyard football a lot, especially in that first half. It was video game football. Neither defense could do anything against the offense, and that's just what we saw there in the first half, and it continued a little bit in the second half as well. We move on the Vantage South Bank live line, 317-1250. Let's go to David in Farmville. Hey, David.
Hey, good game. Just a couple of comments. One, I'd like to see a couple more passes a little deeper. I don't think we threw any passes more than 15 yards down the field. Not complaining. I mean, Carden was on. He had a lot of protection. Regarding the defense, we seem to play a lot better when we rushed 4, and possibly, even 5 with a little bit of a blitz. But the 3 was getting absolutely no pressure at all. And I think in the first half the problem was when we were blitzing, the guys weren't staying in their lanes. And it looked like in the second half when we came with pressure, we did a better job of staying in our lanes and containing him. ODU, I think that guy, the quarterback, was the FCS Player of the Year.
Yeah, Walter Payton Award winner.
Very talented quarterback. They've got good wide receivers. Their offensive line played a lot better than what I thought they would. I think they held their own. I'd like to see us play a little more. I think forever we've always wanted to play a little bit more man in the secondary. I just don't like the 15-yard cushion around receivers. But all in all, I think they played well. And if there was any negatives, I would have liked to have seen a lot more rushing. Just 38 yards or so on the ground. I know we were a passing attack, but I'd like to have seen a little bit more effort, particularly on the running side. I'll hang up and listen, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, David. You certainly want to see more rushing yards against an ODU team where your offensive line should be able to handle those guys up front. And East Carolina tonight running the football for 34 yards against Old Dominion, throwing for 447 yards. That's a negative stat on the UBE stat sheet, no doubt about that. Good call, David. Speaking of the man, and you might be right. I mean, I've looked at film. I sound like Coach Ruff now. I haven't looked at film, but I remember 2 really crucial plays, both on third down. It was Deshaun Amos, who just had made a great open field tackle, gets burnt man-to-man, one-on-one out there on a big play, and then they had the ball at about the half-yard line, and, of course, they go man down there, and Damon Magazoo just kind of loses his man. So, it was rough no matter what Rick Smith dialed up tonight. But you're right, David. 3-man rush did not work at all because even though they had all those guys drop back, ODU was still able to connect with completions. And then when East Carolina did blitz, of course, one of the plays, Gabe Woolard puts the big hit on Heineke. It's scooped up by Ty Holmes for a touchdown. And then on the flip side of that, ECU blitzes, ODU throws a screen, gets a big play. So both offenses on top of their game, no doubt about it, tonight at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. 317-1250 is the number on the Vantage South Bank live line. Let's go all the way down to Louisiana. Lee is on the line. Hey, Lee.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for the call.
All right, fantastic. I guess obviously, number one, great job by the offense tonight. Offense looked really good. I guess my big concern is around surge off the line there, both offensively in the running game and then obviously defensively as far as putting pressure on the quarterback. I guess, obviously I watched it on TV from Louisiana here, but in person, did we see something different as far as being able to get obviously surge on the offensive and defensive line?
Yeah, Lee. I mean, I was a lot closer to the field than you were, and I saw the same thing you did. And no real holes opened up on the running game. Defensively, I watched Darrell Johnson a lot, and he was just having all kinds of trouble getting to the quarterback. As the previous caller said, when we tried to blitz or just rush 3 or 4, it really wasn't working. ECU didn't get a lot of pressure, and that was a disappointing thing in tonight's game. The lines, I don't want to say controlled by ODU because ECU had their moments, especially in pass protection for Shane Carden. But ODU did a lot better on the O-line and D-line, I guess, than I would expect coming into tonight's game.
Yep, I guess I'd say the same thing.
Well, Lee, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. Appreciate the call.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks for tuning in on PirateRadio1250.com. We enjoy all you listeners listening online and giving us a call, 252-317-1250. We will now come back here home to Greenville. Jack is up next in Greenville. Hey, Jack.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I recognize that deep voice.
Well, look, I want to say first and foremost, before anything else, I say that, hey, we got a W. We have a W tonight, and that's the most important thing as we lay our heads down to sleep in Pirate Nation.
Jack, especially, Jack, if you heard those scores Shirley rattled off, all those FCS teams winning, McNeese State knocking off USF, and who was it, Eastern Washington beating Oregon State. You're right, 1-0 sounds good right now.
And look, I'm old school Pirate Nation. One of our big things is one of the biggest criticisms is that we always play to the level of the team we're playing. We play up when we're playing number 10 in the nation, and we play down per se when we're playing a lesser. And I'm like everybody else. Look, I would love to have won 60-3, as most people thought we should have. But I want to say that my two things is everybody's criticizing the defense, and rightly so. But let's not criticize the whole defense. Because their quarterback, and let's give him props, he is incredible. They have a great quarterback there. But he would drive and run, which meant that our secondary was doing their job. Receivers were covered. The defensive line was where the problem is. Not the whole defense. Defensive line had a little weakness tonight. Same with the offense. Offensive line on rushing, little weakness. When it came time to give Shane time, he was surgical. That touchdown before in the first half was a surgical strike. So we saw some positives. We saw some negatives. We want more in Pirate Nation, but hey, we got the W. We provided protection for Shane, and he was surgical in his passes. And the secondary was awesome at covering their receivers, which is why the quarterback took off to run. The defensive line couldn't stop him on some plays, but the fact is we came away with the win. And the thing is, we came away with a second half team, as we always are. So props to the coach, props to everybody. Hey, it's first game of the season. We're geared up. We've got some great games ahead of us. We've got some tough games ahead of us because we're playing two teams the next 3 weeks that played number 6 and number 1 in the nation. So we've got to get our stuff together. But the guys played great. Shane was a surgical master tonight when he had time, and the offensive line gave him time. So thank you guys. Hey, paint it purple, baby.
Thank you, Jack. There's Jack in Greenville, and if you're out and about in the uptown, downtown area, check out Peasants Pub. I'll just throw that out there for Jack in Greenville. Let's welcome in the mayor, who has his pirate hat on tonight, A.T. Alan Thomas. What's up, A.T.?
Some impressive offensive players tonight on both sides of the ball, I think, as advertised. And what was the difference is we were a step better than they were with our offense when we wanted to score, when we needed the big third down and long plays. We were able to find Justin Hardy. Justin Hardy, what a game.
I mean,
they tried to bracket him at times. We put him in the slot. Always the ability to take contact, yards after the contact, and the difference in the game. And great to see Harvey come back with a big pivotal field goal late in this game, which really put it away for us.
And, Alan, you talk about our offense just a step better to get that score when we needed it. as rough as the defense was at times, the defense did score 7 points for us tonight.
They got us back 7, but they also gave up one over the top there in the first half, which I know was a bit of a head-scratcher. But, look, Rick Smith just got here. He's working with some good young talent, but they're going to get burned from time to time. We know that from last year to this year. If you're expecting miracles, you're going to have to look for small miracles week to week, every week on this defense.
317-1250 is the number. Let's go to Kinston and talk to Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hey, how y'all?
Good, Rob.
Look, from what I saw in the game now, I was sitting bird's eye view. I have to say I was sort of disappointed in what I had seen tonight, especially in the first quarter or first half. Our defense was very slack. Short passes and everything else from ODU was killing us. Several times we've seen our defense just stand there and watch the ball. That's going to have to change if we want to try to go up in next year.
I saw the same thing, Alan, that Rob saw.
Absolutely. I think that is not the acceptable standard we got to be defensively. And, again, this is going to be week to week. This is a team that my thought was in the first half we'd give up some points, but finally up front, you got to get a push up front. You got to get to the guy. This is probably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks we'll see this year. No excuses. Just saying a very mobile kid that we put pressure on from time to time, a lot of scheme to try to come off the edge to get to him. We blitzed from corner. I mean, we did all kinds of interesting things, and very mobile guy. I mean, you got to give him some credit, but, I'm not going to give a 38-point credit, but let's just say we've got room to work, but a credible offensive field general there we played against.
What else you got, Rob?
All right, that's it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for the call. Good call tonight, Rob, in Kinston. 317-1250 is the number. I want to get one more in and take a timeout. Let's go up to New York City, and talk to Robbie. Hey, Robbie.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Listening in, I think, I got to watch the game on television, so a little bit different than probably you guys watching it, in person. And I have to give, all the credit that you guys gave to Tyler Heineke, or however you say his name. One thing in person, but watching him on TV and his capability was really, really impressive. And I think when you guys go back, and those of you that get to watch it on TV and kind of watch some clips and see just how close he was so many times, and his ability just to get away from it was truly one of the more impressive things that I think probably didn't maybe carry over as much in person. I just wanted to kind of mention. And the other thing I was curious of, because they didn't always zoom out well enough on the TV angles to show, was that if the defense changed much in the fourth quarter. It seemed like towards the end especially, we kind of played more of a man, played up close. We were rushing more man at the quarterback, and all of a sudden we were kind of a lot closer to the receivers when they were making their plays. And I don't know if you guys noticed that too. It was a change in our defensive philosophy, or if it was just, fourth quarter we were up 2 touchdowns and throwing everything we had at them. But just curious your thoughts on that.
Well, he was throwing underneath, and he was very mobile. We did bring pressure from time to time throughout the game. I just think at some point, we were rotating guys in there in the second half, which I think at some point fresh legs are going to prevail, to be quite honest. But give him credit. Great game. Came out in the second half and kept the pedal down. When you play like that as a quarterback, when you use your mobility, sometimes you're going to pay the price. And he did with a big turnover that the defense were able to scoop up and score. But I'm sure it was a very interesting game, I'm sure, to watch on television. But you could tell from the crowd just wanting to get that one big defensive play. A couple times he threw into traffic. We had a chance for a couple of picks there in the second half. Not able to get it. But, these guys are going to continue to have to take their lumps and get better. I mean, that's the name of the game. And Rick Smith will tell you, he's not one to settle for this. He's not going to be happy about this. If he'd given the press conference tonight instead of Ruff, I'm sure we would have got some interesting comments, and I'm sure we will on Monday.
And to Robbie's first point, he was definitely wearing the Vaseline jersey. I mean, guys were sliding off of him left and right. Robbie, anything else?
No, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks. Great show.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in on PirateRadio1250.com, listening to us live all the way up in New York City. We'll take a time out. 317-1250. If you call now, you'll be up first. And talk to us when we return after this timeout. And while we take a break, we're going to enjoy Wings Over Greenville. Call them 758-WING. Boneless, bone-in, ribs, waffle fries. We got it all. It's a great way to close out the night. Watch a little football, listen to us, and eat your Wings Over Greenville. 758-WING is the number. We'll take a timeout. 317-1250. More of your calls coming up right after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by CPW's in Autovola Market Cafe, CPW's in the Stanton Square Shopping Center, and Autovola Market on Red Banks Road. Pirates supporting pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Homes, and the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter call-in show.
Welcome back in. The show you've been waiting for all year long is back. The U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter call-in show, taking your calls on the Vantage South Bank Live Line, 317-1250. Coming up in a little bit, we'll read your messages on the Pirate Radio Facebook page, also the Boneyard Banner Fifth Quarter message board, and the HoistTheColors.net Fifth Quarter message board as well. But we are taking your calls first. 317-1250 is the number. Jeremy is up next in Williamsburg. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Jeremy, how are you?
Good. Thanks for all that you do. It's great to listen to you guys, and I've been doing it since earlier this afternoon and on the Intune app and all, and it's just a great convenience, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Really appreciate that, Jeremy. You can, and as he said, get us on the TuneIn app, listen to us from anywhere. So we really appreciate it, man.
And we get a lot of callers, which is great to hear, that they'll pick up the game immediately after the broadcast, and they'll drive back to Greensboro or Charlotte or wherever, and we just kind of ride along with them and talk Pirate football, which knows great.
I mean, it helps you get home, right? I mean, I've been listening to you guys for years, and I went to school the same time you guys did, so it's great. But, I live in Williamsburg, obviously, and CA country. I mean, to be quite honest, the talent level really is not that much different than where we're at or where other Division I schools are at. And that quarterback that we played tonight, I mean, that guy can play anywhere. He was overlooked in the high school, and I don't think we'll play a better quarterback this year than what we've played tonight. And I mean that seriously, except for maybe Cato at Marshall. But our defense, everyone's calling and complaining, what if, or a little less points here or there. We early in the game on TV, I'm saying, don't rush forward. Let's just drop back a little bit, and because he burned us early a couple times, and then we got into the very conservative role where we gave him a lot of room, and he got all these little underneath passes and so forth, which were positive yards. But it's a classic, FCS, FBS duel where you just got to kind of let each other, play the game and eventually be patient, work it out, and make a play, which we did on defense in the third quarter to start the second half, and we made a touchdown, and that was the game changer. I feel like that I think the game plan I'm disappointed in the game plan from our perspective. I felt like it was total opposite of what I wanted to see tonight. I wanted to see more of a rushing game and a little bit more of a time management, but it ended up being a passing game real early on, and that was a dangerous situation for us with Haneke at quarterback because they've got playmakers. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and we do too. I mean, obviously they couldn't stop us, and we very seldom could stop them, but the game just sort of had all those makings of an upset. But it was just those few third down opportunities that East Carolina's defense put Haneke in, and he evaded us, and he made those plays and made those positive yards. At the same time, we got into those third down situations where we were looking like our backs were against the wall, and Shane and Hardy and those guys made some unbelievable plays with some very long third down yardages, and that was, I think, the key in the game. I mean, it was not what we wanted as coaches, I'm sure. They did not want that game plan, with those long third down situations, but it worked out in the end. And at the end of the day, it's a W, and that's the important thing. I mean, you guys have talked about it with all these other FCS schools winning today. I mean, I follow William & Mary. I live in Williamsburg. I mean, they should have won that game today.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all watched that.
Yeah, I watched that.
Literally, it was a missed interception at the goal line, and William & Mary won that football game today. And that's in Morgantown, West Virginia. I mean, that's 65,000 fans raising hell. I mean, my whole family's from Morgantown, West Virginia, so I know what that place is like. That's not a friendly environment to be in. So, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, I'm glad that we won, and I know it was going to be offensive, and I knew that, a lot of Pirate fans said, it's going to be a 3-touchdown blowout. Welcome to the big time ODU. BS. I mean, those guys got great playmakers on both sides of the ball, more importantly on offense. But, I knew that it was going to be a interesting game because it was the first game of the year. Now, if it was our third game of the year, maybe they wouldn't have had such a good opportunity to beat us today. But, I mean, we survived, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, good points, Jeremy, all around. And once again, thanks for listening on the TuneIn app, listening to us pregame and postgame. Well, one thing you said, Alan, that we're starting to get more calls about, and it's a good point, is the running or lack thereof. And looking at the UB stat sheet, East Carolina as a team ran it 22 times. Now, some of those counted as Shane Carden going down. But Tate Cooper, just 12 carries, 38 yards. Corey Hunter, 2 carries, 7 yards. ODU didn't try to run the ball either. Most of their rushing came from Heineke scrambling around. So neither team really tried to establish a run game at all.
ODU played very, very soft on defense, and what you saw is classic Shane Carden. He took what the defense gave him.
And classic Lincoln Riley, he says that a lot too. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you can ride your horse, and you're right, maybe the philosophy you think, go out, run clock, wear their defense out, keep their offensive team on the sideline. If we had gotten a couple of scores up, maybe that was the case. If we hit the field goal early, but we didn't. And at that point, I think they decided, this is going to be a bit of a track meet. Let's go score points, which played right into Old Dominion's, great offensive scheme. And all you can do is just give Taylor Heineke great credit. Great quarterback.
Thanks for the call tonight out of Williamsburg, Jeremy. Let's go a little closer to home. To LaGrange, 317-1250 is the number. Kyle's up next. Hey, Kyle.
What's going on, y'all? I ain't in LaGrange yet. I'm still in Grable. I'm worn out. It is what it is. I thought all week on Boneyard Banner. I told people it's going to be a ball game. ODU's offense is fantastic. Their quarterback stud is going to be a ball game. My predicted score was 48-31. I knew it was going to be kind of a shootout. People kept telling me, nah, we're going to kill him. 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 Bullcrap. That's one of the best offenses. I don't care FCS, FBS, Division II, NAIA, whatever. That's one of the best offenses we're going to see all year long. That's one of the best quarterbacks we're going to see all year long. He's a stud. And they put up a lot of points on us. To our credit, we put up more points on them. I'm concerned about a couple of things. The running game, I don't know if I'm concerned about it or not because we didn't try to run the ball much. I'll be more concerned next week against FIU, or FAU rather, if we can't run the ball and we try to more. But we didn't really try to establish a run. If you don't try to establish something, you can't very well run the ball. We didn't go deep. We passing game was great, but we didn't try to go vertical on them. Again, I don't know if it was just because the underneath stuff was there or if we don't have a deep threat on the team. With Jabril Solomon being academically ineligible. So those are my two concerns. The defense will get better as the year goes on. Rick Smith is a good coach. I tell you what, I bet you if Brian Mitchell was still here, we'd have lost that game. He did, we forced a turnover. We got a couple stops on third down. We didn't give them too much deep stuff. We kept them underneath. I would like to see our linebackers and our safeties tackle a little better at times. We had some missed tackles. I'm happy we won. North Dakota State beat Kansas State. Townsend beat UConn. I think Eastern Washington beat Oregon State tonight, or are beating them. I don't know if you have to tell me that.
It's a final. Yeah, Oregon State lost.
Yeah, they were top 25. K-State won the Big 12 last year. They lost to North Dakota State. Townsend beat UConn. There was a couple other 1AA upsets for some Sunbelt schools.
McNeese State hammered USF tonight.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
So the FCS schools, sometimes that talent differential isn't as great as people think it is. If you're a good FCS school, now if you're a lower, if you're Morgan State or I don't know, Elon or Gardner Webb, maybe you do smoke them. But I tell you, I think it's tougher to beat a good FCS school. A school that, if you're used to winning, ODU used to winning. They won 11 games last year, 11 games the year before. If you're used to winning, you have the mentality to win. You're not going to go in and intimidate. You're going to be playing to win. I think it's tougher to beat a good FCS school than it is to beat a weak FBS school. I think it's tougher to beat Old Dominion than it would be to beat Eastern Michigan. So anyway, I'm glad we won. I'm not going to overanalyze this thing. Next up, Florida Atlantic. I watched them play last night. They got a good defense. Their offense is horrible.
complete opposite of what we saw this week. No offense and a decent defense. So that'll be interesting Thursday night. And I'll hang up and let somebody else talk. Go Pirates.
All right, Colin LaGrange, good call. I like one part of the call, AT, where he brought up something and kind of answered his own question in two different ways. Why didn't ECU throw the football deep? And one of his reasons, he said, was maybe it was because the underneath was working so well. Well, Shane Carden only had 8 incompletions. He was 46 of 54.
That's dazzling numbers.
You go with what works. I mean, he had 447, 5 touchdowns. He also brought up the fact that Jabril Solomon, who was such a great catch-and-run guy, we've seen Reese Wiggins do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think we have speed on the outside, but he brings up a good point. You know, without Jabril, do we have the stretch-the-field guy? I just don't think we really needed it tonight.
We didn't. We had 10 guys catch balls tonight and some pretty long receptions. Justin had a 23-yarder. Cam Worthy. Who is Cam Worthy? Well, he had 2 catches tonight and for 36 yards had a 21-yarder. And Danny Webster was everywhere in the first half. A lot of guys touching the ball tonight. And that is the nature of Lincoln Riley's offense. Can we throw over the top? When they were giving so much underneath and we were getting so many yards after the catch, we got 52 points tonight. It's kind of hard to argue with 52 points, even though, 6 of that or 7 of that can be contributed to a defensive play. But it's one of the, hey, it's game one. It's game one. You roll the guys out there, you find out where you get exposed, you find out who steps up from the young guys. I mean, a lot of young players played well tonight. Isaiah Jones, number 7. Are you kidding me? I mean, everywhere. It looked like a guy had been playing for several years. We understand why that confidence was out there in him. Great to see Robert. Spent some time with Robert tonight. He was up in the end zone watching this entire game, very excited.
Up in the end zone, and his boy found the end zone. He's got to be a proud pop.
Very proud pop, and good to speak with him. And he loves being back in Greenville, being back a close member of the Pirate family, so that's a wonderful thing. And, we scored a lot. Offensively, it's hard to find negatives here. I mean, we only ran the ball 30% of the time, but quite frankly, as a former coach once said, sometimes your underneath passing game turns into your running game when you get yards after the catch. A lot of yards. Look at Justin Hardy's numbers, almost 200 yards. How much of those were after a quick slant, losing that cornerback and picking up another 5 or 10 or 15 yards? So a lot there for us offensively. Defensively, a lot of work to do. A lot of drag routes underneath, and Heineke extending plays, extending. And it could be said, maybe he will end up at the end of the year. We'll look back and say this is one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks we saw. But a lot of callers on the air, so we'll get back to these guys and get the show moving.
That's AT in Greenville chiming in with his thoughts tonight. Alan Thomas here, Clip Brock here, Shirley Rhodes taking your calls, and the Wings over Greenville being pounded as we speak. 758-9464. Call them up right now and enjoy your post-game tailgate. Let's go to Greenville, and Al is up next. Hey, Al.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, tell Alan, stop being a politician. Let us guys call in.
No, I know this guy.
He's filibustering.
I know this guy.
You know what? It all started Thursday night with a great party, and last night in Greenville, and the game was a perfect weekend. We got the win, and everybody tells me Rick Smith is a great coach, so I don't know. I just don't like that type of defense where they don't come up and hit the wide receivers, but great weekend.
It is a great, wonderful. If you're a Pirate fan, this is what you dream of coming out of the summer, Al. And I know you were there all over it.
Whoever you guys that party Thursday night was fantastic. I mean, that's a start to it. And Uptown Greenville last night was fantastic. So let's move on, because everybody I talked to at the party says Shane Carden's going to be a top pro pick. So let's see what happens.
Great thoughts, Al. If you're a Pirate, you had a great opportunity to spend a lot of time with a lot of your friends this weekend. Thursday night, Pirate Radio had a great party. Clip, 1,600 people at the Hilton?
It was, you know what, it was awesome last year, and somehow it got bigger and better.
It was
and
great.
It was awesome.
Wonderful to see Jeff Charles there, and then we had, we built up the crescendo, the Free Boot Friday night, building up to Saturday. Wonderful day of tailgating, and then a lot of excitement tonight. If you stayed through the fourth quarter, which we did have some folks exiting in the third.
We did.
If you stayed, you saw a great offensive showing back and forth. But sometimes, we want to, it's game one, and we're all look at it with a critical eye, which we should. I think the big question, you talked about this in pregame, how's the defense going to respond to Rick Smith? How are we going to improve? And it's obvious. We've got some work to do. We've got some guys that are going to get burned and learn.
Al, anything else?
that the game plan? I mean, for those guys to play off 15 yards? I don't
Evidently.
understand that. Is that actually the game plan? Because
it must be.
Come up.
Well, I mean, that's what they did, so it must be Rick Smith's plan. But week 1 to week 2, isn't that when the biggest adjustments are made, they say, the old cliche? So we'll see what he comes out with on Thursday.
Days. Yeah, you've got 3 or 4 days to figure that out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yep. See you Thursday night.
All right, thanks, Al. Appreciate you calling in. 317-1250 is the number. We'll stay in Greenville and talk to Captain Bill. Captain Bill, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, Bill?
Doing pretty good, man. I kind of was a little disappointed with the game myself, man. I was looking for a little more in your face on the defensive side of the ball with Rick Smith coming back and all that. And, I didn't really see it, and that kind of disappointed me a little bit. And then I know it's the first game and all, and we won. A win's a win. You move on, but I was kind of a little disappointed. I didn't see the play in the guy's eyes, the physical go to the ball and just attack like we've seen in the past years with East Carolina. And I was a little disappointed on that, but and the penalties. I think it was 9 penalties for 85 yards. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'll get that stat for you here, Bill.
It was 80-plus yards and penalties.
And I agree with Bill. I was expecting a little more of that as well. It was a lot of reacting to what ODU was doing rather than forcing the issue, I thought, tonight. So I'll agree with that point.
Yeah, I did. I was a little disappointed there. It's almost like, and just as a fan looking at it, I mean, I'm not a head coach or nothing like that, but I think there was a lot of confusion when you start throwing in the 3-4 and the 4-3. I think it was Rick had a lot of stuff he was throwing in at them, and I just thought it was a little confusing for them. And at times they didn't know what they were reading.
Well, Bill, at the end of the day, you got to get pressure on the quarterback, and they squeezed him from time to time, and he blitzed from multiple directions, and I mean, above average kid. He's got to give him some credit, but as you said, I think we'll all come back from this still kind of scratching our head with that question mark still on defense, and you know what? We'll have to work on that. We got week 1 to 2 to worry about it and see how we respond.
I totally agree, man. Well, I'm gonna get off this thing, and we won. We'll move on to the next one. And but it was one thing I enjoyed after I got home and got cleaned all up with my tailgating and all, is watching Mr. Skip Holtz get waxed by NC State. That was sweet chin music to me, so that kind of made my night.
Bill, did you DVR that to go back and watch that tonight? You didn't record that, did you?
Hey, Bill. Hail to the Redskins, man.
Hail to the Redskins, baby. 4-0 preseason, man. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year, man.
I'm with you. There you go. All right, man. We'll see you.
Have a good one.
All right, there he is, Captain Bill. Fired up. Pirates win. Redskins win the preseason Super Bowl, Alan.
You get a trophy for that?
You get a ring, I think. And Skip Holtz, his team loses to State. Perfect day for Captain Bill.
Wow. Okay.
317-1250 is the number on the Vantage South Bank live line. Brooks is up next in Greenville. Hey, Brooks.
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, man. I'll make this short and sweet. I think our penalties were piss poor tonight. I think that was the when we go from being a top team in the country last year from least penalized to throwing out 9 penalties tonight. I know it's the first game, but we don't need to be giving up penalties like that, especially some stupid ones that we had.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge topic at Ruff's press conference.
That's something he prides himself in, and not a lot of penalties, and lost some cool there in the second half a bit, and I'm definitely some frustration chasing around Taylor and a lot of holding. And I think Ruff had some questions on some of those calls, I think, early in that game as well, that, with some substitution violations.
But also, in that part, the confusion part, with guys not knowing when to go in, and that happened on offense and defense, and that's something that's got to get corrected, Brooks, because not only did that lead to a penalty, it led to burning 2 timeouts, and in close games, those timeouts are precious.
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't want to be playing Marshall in the possible conference championship, East Division or whatever, and giving up penalties like that. I mean, that's not gonna win games that way. So definitely, that's my opinion. I mean, defense is one thing. I mean, I know we struggled, but I mean, Rick Smith can't
make a miracle overnight. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, so that's going to come. It's going to come, but it's just that those penalties we can't have.
So I'll leave it at that, and y'all have a good night, and we'll see you Thursday.
Appreciate you tuning in, Brooks. Thanks for the call. 317-1250 is the number. B. Pays dropping by the Pirate Radio studios. What's up, Pays?
I would have sat with you on the other side, but, me and you kind of two big guys on one side eating some wings.
I'll tell you what, if AT gets another plate or two,
he might be up here with
He's not going to be in my weight class, but I tell you what, he's doing his work over there.
I can hold my own. You know that.
758 wing is the number, and you can eat and be fat and happy.
Yes.
Like me, anyway. I'm not going to put you gentlemen in that. But 317-1250 is the number to call here. 758 wing, the number to call Wings Over Greenville. Let's go to Michael and Cary. Hey, Michael.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for chiming in tonight, Michael.
I'm just wondering what kind of special training drill we're going to have to put in for Ruff to prevent him from tripping over the pirate sword when they do their stadium entry.
That's a new one.
He tripped
over the pirate sword?
I don't get to see the beginning of I don't get to see the team run out because I do the pregame show. I'm not there in time, so I missed that, Michael. But I'm not sure. You got to work on everything, and maybe that's something they work on from week 1 to week 2.
Need improvement from week 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those big week 1 to week 2 improvements. We'll look for it on Thursday night.
Yeah.
That's great.
You guys have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Okay.
Came in, got his point across, and he's out. 252-317-1250 is the number. Jack is up next in Greenville. Hey, Jack.
Hey, guys, I know I hit you before. I just wanted to I forgot to weigh in earlier. In my travel between watching it on TV, listening to Jeff Charles broadcast the game again, how great was it to hear our voice of the Pirates? God bless it. Help being out there doing the game.
He was. It was amazing.
Jack, I said it before the game on the pregame show that it was such a shot in the arm to get him back here Wednesday night on From the Booth. Had him at the Pirate Radio party, did the UB Pirate preview this morning, had him on the pregame show, and then calling the game in the booth, man. It's a adrenaline shot for everybody in the Pirate Nation.
It is, and I want to remind people because this is my home and I'm old school Greenville, and we remember when there was no TV coverage. You couldn't see us on TV. And we didn't have a 1250 radio station giving us pregame or a post-call-in game show. So I thank you guys so much. Let's remember where we started and where we've come and how great it was to have Jeff Charles back there again tonight and to have the mayor of our town there caring enough about the university to take the comments and be involved with this university in this town. I want to thank 1250, and I'm so proud of Jeff Charles. Let's keep him in our prayers. And thank you, Alan. I'm going to leave it to you guys.
Awesome.
Well,
great.
I take the mayor hat off. I mean, we've been doing this a lot longer than I've enjoyed serving the city. But this, Cliff. This is my 11th year. I've been through some interesting times. Post Steve Logan, John Thompson, and good old Skip, and here with Ruffin, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And we talk about it's just so good to just have a chance, as you said. I remember the day when people would drive to a certain part of the county to try to pick up a radio feed, some rough feed somewhere to maybe catch most of the game, depending on how the weather was, that particular night. And it's a special thing now. It really is. We're spoiled, I'll say it.
Vantage South Bank Live Line is open. I tell you what, we'll take one more and take a timeout. Let's go out to Charlotte. John's up next. Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing, Clip?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, doing great. I just now called in. I've missed the show, so I'm sure I'm going to say some of the things that everybody else has. Obviously, it's good to win. We beat a darn good football team today. I mean, obviously we could have done a few things better, but just a comment on the defense. Obviously, the front line didn't get the push that I thought that we could get, but ODU's offensive line, unbeknownst to maybe some people, they're pretty big dudes. So they were definitely, I think they averaged 320 or somewhere around there from what I remember. But the secondary played quite well, I think, because, Taylor should have had some sacks there, coverage sacks, but he was so elusive. He was able to get away. And I know the defense was frustrated. The fans were frustrated that we couldn't get him, but he was a darn good quarterback. So, defense, I think, is going to evolve. Obviously, we have to get better. We've got to get pressure, or else it's going to be a long season. But the offense too, man. What can you say? There's not enough superlatives to say. Aside from that lateral game that Lincoln Riley still goes to, you know, I wish we'd get a little bit more vertical, not necessarily deep, but all those quick outs. I don't know. They just kind of get a little bit annoying and they don't really work. But everybody just, the ball got spread around. Hardy, Carden, and of course seeing the young guys, Isaiah and Grayson, contribute the way they did. They got a bright future. So good stuff. I know there's people that's probably complained a lot. There was things that could have been better for sure, but you know, we still won, and I think we played a heck of a team. So we just move on and see what we could do next week against FAU. So thanks, guys, for all you do, and enjoy the show as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, and John makes a lot of good points, and two things I always look for in game one is some of those off-season expectations. How have you improved in certain areas? You know, how's your offense going to respond? I think everyone felt pretty confident we should be able to score points, move the ball out of our seasoned quarterback, our seasoned tailback, a talented receiving core that could sustain a loss of two of our better receivers. Mm-hmm. We had 10 receivers tonight, lighted up, multiple guys getting on the scoreboard. Our best receiver doesn't even get a touchdown tonight. And you've got some Davon Grayson. Did he really have 3 touchdown passes tonight?
That's got to be.
And by the way, what was
kidding me? We had 2 freshman receivers light it up tonight.
What was wrong with Hardy? Why didn't he get a touchdown?
Oh, let's complain about that.
I know.
191 yards.
I don't think this has been brought up in the show yet. And correct me if I'm wrong. And if it hasn't, I'm going to give myself credit for bringing this up. Shout out to the Greenville Rose native fullback Jimmy Booth for jumping on a football in the end zone because that was huge.
Big play.
That could have been a huge turning point.
Coop he just got it stripped. I mean, he just got to play strip going in there. He did.
Who are we giving credit to that call? Ruffin McNeil changing Jimmy Booth from defense to offense.
You know one thing I love about Justin Hardy tonight? Right before he had a long game, he missed a block.
Yes, he did on a screen.
He missed a block on the screen. Next play, he went like 35 yards.
I'm going to make it up to you.
I'm going to make it up to you.
317-1250 is the number. We'll take a timeout. Enjoy some more Wings over Greenville. Call them up, 758-WING. We got AT, B. Pays. I'm Clip Brock. Shirley Rhodes is taking your calls. Josh Graham is breaking down the Ruffin McNeil and player audio that we'll bring to you in a little while. 317-1250, open lines. We're back with more after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by the Eye Care Center. Eye doctors you can trust. Visit the Eye Care Center near you with locations in Greenville, Washington, Williamston, Plymouth, and Morehead City. Eye Care Center, the official eye care provider of the Pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Holmes and the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter call-in show. Now with the Bojangles scoreboard, here's Shirley Rhodes.
All right, if I can get all my paperwork here together. We got some finals that just happened just a little bit ago. Nebraska gets by Wyoming 37-34, and Texas cruised over New Mexico State 56-7. Games going on right now. Clemson has a 10-point lead over Georgia, 38-28 is that score. LSU leads TCU 23-17. It's UCLA 17, Nevada 13. Washington heads into the locker room at the half with a 10-3 lead over Boise State, and Northwestern has a 14-7 lead over California. Finals from earlier today of note. Boston College beat Villanova 24-14. It was Ohio State 40, Buffalo 20. West Virginia barely gets by William & Mary 24-17. Maryland beat up on FIU 43-10. And NC State was a winner over Skip Holtz's Louisiana Tech. 40-14 was that final. And that's a look at your Bojangles scoreboard, brought to you by Bojangles, where they're serving up those awesome new home-style tenders. They're mild, juicy, boneless, whole breast select tenderloin fillets. They've got big flavor, and they're less spicy. Just ask for the new home-style tenders. It's bow time. Now let's head back into the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter postgame call-in show. Here's your host, Clip Brock.
All right, thank you very much, Shirley Rhodes. Welcome back into the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter call-in show. The Vantage South Bank Live Line has a couple of open lines at 317-1250 We'll get to Landis and John in just a second, and also Billy Weaver going to join us. But, guys, a little news, and I saw...
Do you have the breaking news music? Because this is a big deal.
This is a very big deal. I saw some chatter of this and saw that it's on the Daily Reflector. Tony Castleberry reporting it. Alan, what is a practice facility really worth when it comes to recruiting? I mean, it can't do that much, right?
Evidently, it's eye-popping for somebody.
Lance Tejada is an ESPN Top 100 basketball player. He gave his verbal commitment to the Pirates on Saturday during his official visit to East Carolina. He's rated the 96th best player in the country. He had offers from Butler, Florida State, Tennessee, Virginia, Virginia Tech, among many others. And he at least gave his verbal commitment to come play basketball at East Carolina for Jeff Lebo.
Now, Lebo is stocking that roster, B-Pace.
Lebo's been on this guy a lot. He actually been to visit him a couple times, and the guy's been quoted as saying that he likes Lebo because he was a point guard at Carolina. He's a point guard.
Development.
And in Miami, I think, and I don't know if you remind me, but Miami came in pretty hard at the end, too, I think. I think Jim Larinaga really came in pretty hard at the end.
He's from Hollywood, Florida, 6'1", 175 pounds, and he tweeted tonight, "Best feeling of my life, #Pirate Nation." So the Pirate Nation shows up for a big Saturday football game. We kind of show him what we can do. He gets his sights set on that practice facility, and we got him, AT.
Well, you got to love it when you know you can come in, as you said, a head coach who's done it on every level, especially as a point guard, and a program that clearly is on the rise. We're still living that momentum from, winning, getting all the way to a title, even though we're still a few steps away from the big tournament, building something special here in basketball, something we've always wanted. I've always told you this, Clip. You know this. If we ever get any taste of success in basketball here, I tell you it's going to explode here in Eastern North Carolina.
And, Donnie Kirkpatrick has said it a lot. Ruffin McNeil has.
We're at a football show, right? Are we getting into
we are. He said if we could just get kids to visit, get them on campus, let them see the stadium, they'll come play football here. Is that going to be the case for basketball?
I mean, you got a $17 million facility, and they also had a kid visiting this weekend. I think he'll probably have a verbal close to this guy, a 6'7" guy named Grant something coming out of Georgia. He was visiting up here this weekend.
Man,
also.
Awesome stuff. We are breaking the good news.
I'm getting goosebumps here.
317-1250 is the number. We're going to go to Landis in Greenville first. Hey, Landis.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Doing great,
Landis.
Appreciate you guys taking my call. It's pretty funny, actually. I'm sitting here with my wife driving back to Raleigh, and we saw the new basketball facility today, and I actually said to her, I said, I heard that this Tejada kid was going to be there. I said it would actually be insane if this kid committed because he's a 4-star recruit, probably the biggest recruit we ever landed. So that's awesome that we actually picked up that kid. But on to football, I just got a quick question for you guys. I'd love to hear your take on it. ODU's got a good program, and we weren't going to shut them down completely, and I don't expect that. But one thing that I saw that I just think is so simple is when you get to third down and 5 or plus, third down 5 yards or more, the linebackers on our team should know to hightail it to the side, and let's get in a dime package where we get some corners out there because ODU was going 4 wide, and we had linebackers trying to cover receivers, and it just looked like a mess all night long. And, I'm not a football expert, but that's what I was seeing, and I don't know if that's something we can easily fix. I just want to hear what you guys think about it.
I mean, I think sometimes when we rushed 3, our linebackers got put in some situations. I think that's going to happen.
Well, and ODU schemed to that.
Yeah.
They look and they got their matchups they wanted, and Taylor did this. If he had his matchup, he would do the drag route, and if he didn't, guess what? He took off. He was the leading rusher tonight. For both teams, the leading rusher in this game was Taylor Heineke, 11 rushes for 52 yards.
I mean, you had with the linebackers tonight, you had Jeremy Grove miss a sack. You had Woolard miss the interception that hit him right in the hands. There's 3 or 4 times you had guys that he slipped out of it. I said this off the air to AT. Old Dominion would probably finish top 3 in Conference USA if they were in the
correct.
Yeah, I mean,
correct.
Let's be real. I mean, they're better than FAU
if they stay healthy and all those things you always talk about. A team that has only so much depth, and I really thought they would fade late in this game, but to their credit, they stuck it out, and we have to go back to square one on some things defensively.
Landis, anything else?
No, I appreciate the call, guys. You guys have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the call. Let's go now to WITN Sports Director Billy Weaver as he'll give us his post-game thoughts. Weave, it was a wild one, a lot of points, a lot of stats, long game. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, you guys probably thought I was crazy when I said 56-28, the final in this thing. It's pretty close. 52-38.
So he called to give himself credit.
Nostradamus. Here we go.
Billy, I said 45-28.
I'm never even close to right. that I was in the same ballpark, I feel great about.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Weave.
Well, I mean, I know that you were expecting highlights out of Taylor Heineke tonight, Weaver. I mean, the guy has done it on no matter who he's played. He's had a great career. And did you think you would see more pressure from East Carolina on him tonight and force him into some bad decisions?
I did, because if you looked at it, East Carolina's bigger, faster, stronger on both their offensive line and their defensive line. You look at the lines on both sides, and East Carolina's got the bigger, stronger, faster kind of guys. I really was wondering how Old Dominion would respond to seeing, 11 Division I athletes on the same side of the ball at the same time. They played a lot of pretty decent teams, but, Taylor Heineke has seen maybe one or two guys that could play on the Division I level on an opposing defense. He's never seen 11 guys with that kind of speed and skill on the field at the same time. So I wondered how he was going to react to that. And I tell you what, like you guys and everybody's been saying, this entire post-game show and pretty much all night, he's the real deal. I liked what I saw from Taylor Heineke. He's a special guy, and there's a reason he won the FCS version of the Heisman Trophy and the Walter Payton Award.
And Billy, we're looking at scores right now. You got to remember, Northern Iowa just beat Iowa State.
Yep.
So South Florida gets rammed by McNeese State today. West Virginia got pushed to the limit by William and Mary. Oregon State
Kentucky
got beat,
losing to Western Kentucky,
and Oregon State got beat by somebody. Right? They got beat earlier. So it's you're looking.
That was another one. I was watching that West Virginia game earlier today against William and Mary, and I was surprised at how well William and Mary. And we know how tough of an environment that is going up to West Virginia and playing in Mountaineer Stadium. It's a tough environment. Those fans are nasty, and that's a tough place to play. And they played very well there and had a shot to win at that. I mean, you're looking at it. You look at it all over the college football, basketball, baseball, the landscape of college athletics. When you've got teams now that are putting great products and great athletes on the field, and Old Dominion showed that just because they have that FCS moniker to them, and they're only fifth year of their program's existence, they're pretty solid, and they're going to be a good team in Conference USA next year. I actually look forward to watching them.
Billy, here's a question always going into game one. There's always new points of emphasis that referees and officials bring out, and they've become talked about a great deal the first couple of games. A lot of penalties for the Pirates tonight. 9 penalties for 85 yards. Some substitution issues here and there. Anything point of emphasis that you noticed differently as we go into this 2013 season?
No, I think it's more of just a first game. And it's not just for the players. You got to remember, this is the first game for the referees as well. So, everything is new to everybody. And I think if you remember last year, East Carolina finished in the top 10 statistically in penalties. One of the better teams in the nation as far as being one of the least penalized in the top 10. But if you remember last year, I think in the opener they had a lot of penalties coming out of the gates, and I think that's just typical of college football. And the first week, I think that'll settle down. It didn't seem like to me that there was any ticky-tack stuff. East Carolina, there was a late penalty where it was definitely a 15-yarder where the push out of bounds on Taylor Heineke. I think some of the defensive guys were getting a little bit frustrated with him running around out there, but I didn't see anything as far as officiating that looked any different or weird or anything they were cracking down on.
Weave, quick turnaround. You go home, you get a little rest, but you got to get right back at it Thursday as East Carolina will welcome in FAU Thursday night at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. So we'll see you at the press conference Monday. Hear from you Tuesday on the press box.
Hey, I'd look forward to it. It's going to be fun. Another quick turnaround to players like that. And the good news is, knock on wood, folks, no injuries. Everybody got it unscathed. You get a win. Yeah. You go into a short week healthy. That is the key. So
great point.
Good thing they didn't have any injuries, nothing major at all out of this ball game. So good night overall for the Pirates going into the short week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Weave.
All right, thank you, guys.
WITN Sports Director Billy Weaver joining us here on the Fifth Quarter Call-In Show. One line open up on the Vantage South Bank Live line, 317-1250. Let's go to John in Greenville. Hey, John. John, you still with us? John's not with us. Let's go to
3, 2, 1.
Reed in Groundsland. Hey, Reed.
Hey, this is Reed in Groundsland. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Reed.
Hey, I'll start out a couple positive notes. It was good to get the victory. You know, the first game, you never know what's going to happen. These guys have been playing all summer, and practicing all summer. And hey, the second positive note, the defense scored for us. Gave us a little cushion, man, because the game could have been a lot closer if you think about it. And on the scoreboard, it showed the number of plays that they had, and I think we ran about 20 more offensive plays than they did. So I was just going to say, like, maybe we're running too many plays, and, you know, we didn't have a lot of results in terms of, they kept up with us, but we ran a lot more plays. Maybe the guys are winded and stuff like that.
Well,
see what y'all think.
Alan, you got the stats on the UBE stat sheet.
I thought it was like 48 six-home offensive plays, about 30 of them.
They had there were 76 total offensive plays for ECU. They had 75. You may have seen like the passing plays because they had 52 passing plays. We had 54. Cardin was 46 for 54 in this game. Taylor Heineke was 39 for 52 and was also the leading rusher in this game with 50-plus yards rushing.
And this is a school record. I guess he did break the school record tonight because 447. I know the Marshall game last year was close, but it is a school record.
447.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I'm sure them dudes are top. I mean, they did great. That's 50 points. Anytime they score that, it's really good. But you just wonder if they're like sputtering a little bit. You know, maybe slow it down a little bit. Just, more quality plays, and they're just trying to wind everybody. I don't know. I mean, you kind of saw that in the Thursday night Carolina versus Carolina game. They ran a lot of plays, and those guys got tired. But I'm sure you see a lot of improvement. Like y'all said, short week, and they ready. Another home game. Them need to be ready to tee it up. But I just, like earlier in the game, I know we were way ahead in terms of offensive plays. I just wonder if they're, not quality plays.
I mean, well, they scored, 52 points and broke records. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to...
I think the one thing that we hear tonight, and people, and it's a valid discussion, is we didn't run the ball much. We ran the ball. But to be quite honest, sometimes a short passing game turns into your running game. Yep. Justin Hardy takes a short reception and turns it into a 20-yard gain after time. You take it and move on.
Reed, we appreciate your call in Grimesland tonight, man. Thanks for tuning in. We will now move on to John, who's back with us in Greenville. Hey, John.
Flip, I have missed you so bad.
Well, thank you, John.
Hold on. Do you want me to play some music?
I was a pie cat with Alan.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day. Good to have you on here, John. We appreciate you calling in, brother.
Give me one right quick. Come on, man.
There it is. There it is. 2013. Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
John.
I said, Shirley Rose, you and Clip need to win an Emmy for that thing that y'all played at 3 o'clock today.
I give Shirley all the credit. Yeah. It's awesome.
I'm telling you. Carolina ain't got that. State ain't got that. But I got Clip.
I like you, John.
Come on, guys. Hey, it's the first game of the year. We're going to be all right.
We scored 52 points. Yes, I agree with you. I think we'll be all right.
Come on, Thomas.
We got to stop.
Come on, man.
I need this guy to do me some drops.
Are you kidding me?
You are the man.
Tell him.
I don't know what I'm supposed to tell who. I just know I love John calling in.
John's the best.
Yeah.
Love when he calls in.
Y'all, man. I'm going to hang up and listen to y'all. I'll let y'all.
All right, man.
He even teased us with a hang-up earlier and then getting him back on air.
And remember, a lot of people call, but remember, your biggest adjustment's usually between game 1 and game 2.
Well, they got
Come on, Paige. And Shirley gets, 99.9% of that credit.
Shirley put her foot in. I told her the other day. She put her foot in.
Now, guess who we got to meet today in person?
Who's that?
In pregame.
Oh, yes.
One of our callers.
He was on the Bud Light, the pregame show that we have. He is now going to join us on the postgame show. Nicholas in Farmville. Hey, Nicholas.
Hey, guys. What I thought about the game was
Well, before the game, I was really fired up. I was really excited, and I'm so glad that I got to be on the pregame show. And I saw Tordy and LB, and that was a really fun time for me. And when I got at the game, my prediction was that we were going to have a 4-quarter total domination, but anything can happen on the field. And that didn't turn out to happen. But in the first half, the defense wasn't that good. I mean, they didn't give enough push. And the quarterback, he was running like crazy. He was really good at running. He had all day to throw, and we just didn't do nothing about it. But the offense in the first half, it was really good. We had scored a few times, but in the second half, we just turned the tables over. The defense stepped up a lot. The offense stayed the same, and it kind of went up a little. And Justin Hardy, he was extremely awesome out there. He was catching almost all the balls that he got that he was thrown to.
He's right.
His completion ratio was really good. He was running. He was great at running, but most of all, his passing was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely, Nicholas. The Pirate offense just on fire tonight. Whether it be Carden or Hardy or Allen, you talked about Devon Grayson, 4 catches, 3 of those touchdowns. Freshman Isaiah Jones. We got some brand new weapons this year, Nicholas.
And I got to say one thing: FAU, you better watch out, because next week you're coming to our house. You might be flying in, but you know one thing: you ain't flying out. Want some? Get some.
First one of the year from Nicholas out of Farmville.
It's on.
They're not flying back, AT.
They're hobbling back. Somebody called the SPCA.
Man, talk about a run on some calls here. First we had Come On Guys, John in Greenville. Now Nicholas in Farmville.
Where's Todd? I'm waiting for Todd to call in.
Now Chicago Pirate out of Chicago.
Yes.
Joining us on the U.S. Cellular 5th quarter call-in show. Chicago Pirate, keep up the good calls.
That's a tough call to follow, guys.
Yeah.
If I can do that, great. But, I think I'm most excited this year because I've turned over a new leaf. Instead of panicking and freaking out at every turn, I've actually decided that I'm just going to chill out, think the best, wait for the season to finish, and try to stay away from the panic button. So I don't have a nitpick for the game on offense or defense, but I just believe that if we don't lose our heads, this year is going to be a special year.
I agree with you. And as Alan said, 52 points. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I know there's defensive adjustments to be made, but I'm not. I'm okay. I mean, this offense tore it up. We'll see what Rick Smith can do as he gets back in the film room, in the locker room with his guys. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Chicago Pirate.
Yeah, I think the other thing I'm excited about seeing is being close to NIU, just watching what Comfort did. People aren't aware of what's about to happen. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing his flavor here, and he's
putting his stamp on it.
Absolutely, putting his stamp on it. Anything else tonight for us?
That's it, guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and we will hopefully talk to you next week with positive news.
Man, it's awesome to hear from you guys all over the country. Chicago Pirate joining us, listening.
And this just in, nobody died in the game intro. Did you notice that? Everybody got through that fine, and seemed like actually the crowd was very, very. They sure did.
Yeah.
It was on. I think there was an electric environment. So wonderful after a great day of tailgating and just a full stadium. What do we have, about 45,000 here today? Good crowd.
Good. Now, this is interesting, guys, because the next call is out of Chapel Hill. It's Bubba. Is it Bubba Cunningham, the North Carolina Athletics Director, or is it a different Bubba?
This is Bubba the Pirate.
Sorry
for using that name. I'm behind enemy lines here in Chapel Hill, so just bear with me for a little bit.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Bubba.
Missed
missed my first home opener in 12 years today. Had knee surgery, so hoping to be back in about 2 weeks.
Get well soon.
Yeah, I'm getting better, man. I'm a huge Pirate fan. I loved what I saw today about the offense. The defense, of course, everyone's touched on it. I thought ODU would score maybe 24, 28 was what I came away with. But our offense, Shane Carden put up, PlayStation numbers. You guys have talked about that. It was ridiculous watching the guy just hitting every receiver. It was fun to watch. I have to say that. We got a little bit of work to do on defense. Chapel Hill, UNC does run that kind of offense, so they got better athletes. I'm looking, 4 weeks down the road to that. But I will be better and healthy. I will be at Dowdy Ficklin for the Virginia Tech game, and we are going to run that stuff up, and I am looking forward to it. Can't wait. I am so geeked up for Pirate football. Love listening to you guys, and I'm going to shut up and listen to what you got to say.
Bubba, thanks so much for your call behind enemy lines, as he said tonight in Chapel Hill. We appreciate you tuning in on PirateRadio1250.com or on the TuneIn app, but you can listen to us all over the world. And so Bubba could be back soon. It sounds like he'll be back.
He's on the IR.
In Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. Let's see what kind of impact that has on this team. If they can...
he has 4 days to get better.
Yeah, you got a quick turnaround, but he said he will be here for VTech in a couple of weeks. Let's continue on the Vantage South Bank live line, 317-1250. A couple more calls before we take a timeout. Let's go to Alan on the way back to Raleigh. Hey, Alan.
What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
And nothing better than a good day of football, and it was great to see the new basketball practice facility. Oh, man, that's going to be awesome. Whitaker Rogers Court, it's pretty cool. But I wanted to talk about next week. I think it's FAU, and they're going to have, 3 quarterbacks. They interchange them. So I think that's going to be – I'm a little bit worried about that game because, like I said, FAU's Alfred Morris is from there, and they got those 3 guys who interchange the quarterbacks. They can run and throw. They're pretty dangerous. And then I also, besides everything else, everybody talked about defense, penalties, and stuff like that. I was wondering what you guys thought about. I know Justin Hardy was returning to punts, and I was kind of scratching my head. I kind of thought, first of all, well, where the heck is Lance Ray at? And I just saw him returning kickoffs. I didn't know if I saw him much playing wide receiver today. And then, but I did say, why isn't he actually returning punts? But that was basically my question to y'all, what you guys thought about that.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier this week on the Sports Bar, which you can hear weekdays, 4 to 5 on Pirate Radio 1250, 930. Promo. And, I scratched my head too, Alan, hoping that we had somebody better to put back there, but then I thought about it. Dwayne Harris returned punts when he was here. He was the best player on the team.
Let me tell you about punt returns. It's all about ball security and making the first
the best hands.
Yeah. Period. And
Ray's a pretty big boy. You know what I mean? He's fast. He went to Arkansas that first year, and then went to JUCO, and then came to us. And like I said, that's what I was wondering. I see him kind of beasting through. I saw him when he returned that kickoff, and he went sort of right up the middle. He looks big, it's big and fast. Maybe it's because Hardy's got a little bit more cutting ability or something like that. Maybe
it's his hands. It's Hardy's hands.
Ball security.
It's him being smart, and it's his hands. You're not going to see Justin Hardy. Like I said tonight, he made one mistake tonight and missed the block, and then the next time he had in the play, he went almost 35 yards. He's a smart player.
How many catches did he have?
16 catches.
I don't know if is that a record?
I know.
That's what I was wondering.
It's close.
If he tied, ESPN highlight. If he had a touchdown, it's got to be a freaking. If he didn't, if he had, that's pretty, study right there. And obviously Grayson with 4 and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty crazy.
He and Webster had a great run. They had back and forth. They had 24 total catches between both of them.
And I believe Justin had 16 against Marshall last year. And I don't know if he had tied his own record, but 16 catches. Had 12 at halftime, I believe.
Yeah.
Anything else, Alan?
Thanks, Alan.
That's Alan on the way back from Raleigh calling us up. One more before we take a timeout. 317-1250. Let's go to Jacob in Greenville. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Way to go wider to wider today, Cliff.
Yeah, man. It's been a long one, but it's a long season, and I've been looking forward to this since December, so I'm good to go, man.
I just wanted to say the defense, I didn't think played as bad as everybody thinks they played today. I think they took I think they were letting the underneath stuff come in. I think that quarterback is phenomenal. I think he will play in the pros. He's a smart quarterback. I think Rick Smith did his job. I think it's going to take time to build it. Just like I think when he seems to adjust to the flavor of the offense, which means he will take go with what the offense is given. Like in the Houston game in conference championship, they gave up 550 yards, but he got 5 picks. I think we could have had a couple picks tonight. What I liked the most was that they did a lot of good open field tackling. It was a lot of 5-10 yard stuff like we were doing. But I think overall, I think they'll be fine. I think Smith's a smart guy. He's got too much experience, and he will adjust to what his players are doing. I think everybody knows what he brings to the table. I think you just got to be given time. He's only been here for fall camp and spring ball, so other than that, I liked what happened today. I think they're going to be a great team this year.
Jacob, yeah, and Rick Smith is. And I don't know. I trust the guy to find the mistakes, turn this a game where they give up 38 to start the season to kind of. I don't know how quick he can fix them, but I expect, and I know this, he'll keep putting different guys in there to try to change things. That's for sure.
It's kind of like trying to fix a car, and they hand you a toolbox, and you open the toolbox, and you make do with what you have. I think he's someone who has a philosophy that was probably different from our, Bryant Mitchell, who's moved on, and defensive coordinator. And I know he's looking for a few more pieces, but at the end of the day, he said he felt like he's got some guys on this roster who are just going to have to get better week to week. And we've got exploited on a 3rd and 9, ended up being a 40-plus yard touchdown play. That it really should probably have been some safety help there on that play.
Had one-on-one with freshman Deshaun Amos.
Yeah, I mean, so exposed by some pretty good offensive talent. And when you can win a game and kind of have some things handed to you and get exposed, and you got to find out how you're going to bounce back. That happened to us last year. Lord knows where we were a year ago this same week. Think back where we were trying to figure out, what our quarterback situation was going to be like, and struggling for answers on defense, and we're just going to have look for a very short turnaround here.
Jacob, thanks for the call tonight in Greenville. 317-1250 is the number. Before we take a timeout, let's welcome on the voice of Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. He is Morgan Ehlers. And Morgan, looking at the UB stat sheet, you had 26 first down Pirate calls tonight. That's a lot of first downs.
26 first down Pirate calls and about 21 hurried first down Pirate calls.
All right, Morgan, I got a question for you. It's coming on the Pirate Radio 1250 and 930 Facebook page. And actually, Ava asked me this during the game as well. She said,
I know what it's going to be. I had about 52 or 53 text messages during the game.
What was up with the ARGs tonight, my brother?
Well, technically, and the NCAA says, and the conference says that there's not the public address announcer is not supposed to be a cheerleader, and that has been the rules for quite a while. And we have had that recorded. However, there have been times occasionally that I have done that live, and they have chosen right now to review it, and we're going to see how we can implement it without breaking the rules.
Finally, good. This is a huge problem with sports. I'm glad.
Breaking news,
man.
Tonight.
I'm glad they're cleaning this up, Morgan, because this is a huge deal, man.
So politically correct arguing.
Oh my
is that
God.
where we are in society?
We're moving that right above Johnny Manziel in the autograph.
Hold on. Before you get a 12 o'clock in the morning rant and rave going, Cliff, it's all good. I think that you're going to find there's a lot of good things happening, a lot of good things coming on, and it was kind of different. I had to, I've been so used to saying it for the last 7 years, and I started really the second year I was there. It was kind of interesting, but, it did what I was told, and we're going to do that, and we're going to hopefully be able to put some things in to have a workaround is what I'm hoping.
The ARG police.
Thanks, Obama. I don't know. Morgan,
that come from?
NCAA.
Morgan, we've talked a lot about the defense. What did you see from your bird's eye view?
Well, I saw a very good offensive football team. I saw a quarterback that could scramble. I saw that if you didn't know that Taylor Heineke was playing for Old Dominion, you could put him in the purple number 5, put a helmet on, and you probably wouldn't see a whole lot of difference. He's very good. He's a very good quarterback. I also saw a very experienced offensive line for Old Dominion that's very big. When you look at 2 or 3 other guys that are on the offensive line that are 6'4", 6'5", 320, 325 pounds, they were a good match for our defensive line, and that's why at times we got a lot of we didn't get a lot of pressure, but when we did, he scrambled out of it.
Morgan, they averaged 6'5", 307 up front. That is a big line for anyone, but especially an Old Dominion.
It's very big, and where I think a lot of people thought that maybe our secondary was giving up big plays. Well, when the play allows and goes for 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, your defensive backs are going to lose that battle more often than they're going to win it. And just like when Shane Carden scrambled at the end of the first half and threw the touchdown pass right at the end of the first half, he scrambled for 10 seconds. And then he found the wide open man in the end zone through the touchdown pass, and we scored. When you give a quarterback that much time and have a quarterback that's mobile that can scramble like that, things happen. So
I don't think either defense are exactly thrilled about the performance because it clearly a lot of cushion there for us. And the only thing we've heard negative is why didn't we run the ball more often? But Morgan, when you're getting that much room and your receivers are that athletic, that is your running game. Sometimes
that is. I mean, I think Lincoln Riley said that right from the get-go when he first got here. That's a big part of what he does, and those 5 or 6 yard passes, that's just like running the ball. And the running game's going to open up. Running game's going to be fine. I think that at times we didn't get a lot of our offensive line maybe didn't create the big holes that maybe we saw last year, but I think that's going to come. I think they're too good not to. But again, we threw for almost 500 yards tonight. I don't know what the final total was, but I know at one point it was 440 something. And we had, what was the final rushing totals tonight, guys?
Tate Cooper finished, I believe, with, let me pull it up on the UB stat sheet, I think 38 yards, 12 carries. Corey Hunter, 2 for 7. And Carden finished with negative yards from sacks.
And I was surprised we didn't go back to Corey. I don't know about you, Morgan. I was surprised we didn't go back to him. Because
he had some pretty ferocious runs.
Because that one call, we got a holding call on him, which was kind of one of those calls.
And Ventavious Cooper early in the game had a 7, 8, 9 yard good run that got called back for holding. And there were some holding calls that were questionable. There were some non-called plays holding-wise that were questionable that in my opinion, should have been called, but my opinion really doesn't count. I'm just the guy out there going R. I didn't go R.
Not going R. Well, exactly. Officials, this game won for them as well. And as you said, there were some questions here and there.
The Danny Webster one was not a hold. That was terrible. That was a terrible call.
Ventavious Cooper, I mean, we got a good little shuffle pass to him. I think that I noticed, a little innovation there in the second half, trying to pick up a first down and
unfortunately on that play, as soon as he caught the shuffle pass, that defensive tackle was right in front of him, and he ran right into him as soon as he caught it.
Yeah,
Morgan.
One of those things that.
How about the bounce back by Harvey? Missed one early and a big kick late in that game, Morgan, that really sealed this thing.
Warren Harvey's such a good kid, and he really works on what he does, and the Pirates are really lucky to have him. Gone are the days of the kicker coming over and the coach has to tell him a joke to calm his nerves or vice versa, and then you flip a coin, is he going to make it or not? Nothing against them, nothing against that, but we haven't talked really about the kicker in a couple of years, and that's a good thing. I mean, we actually have a good kicking game now. That's a great thing. So I think Warren Harvey, is an excellent kicker, and I think as the year goes on, he's going to get better and better. But I think our team's going to get better. I think there's a lot of hype. I think they got out there and we knew Old Dominion was good. We knew their offense was good. Their defense is better than it was last year. I think that was a big question mark going in. How good was their defense going to be? And I think they showed they're going to be okay this year. They're going to compete and they're going to give their offense a chance to get on the field. how big was that fumble recovery in the first series? The Pirates, picking that up and running that in, that was huge. Because if they take the ball down and score, then it's a total different ball game, I think, in the second half.
Morgan, good stuff. I appreciate you chiming in on the pregame and postgame, and, of course, your work at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. And I will see you Monday night, 6 o'clock, for the Extra Point.
Extra Point, gonna have a good show. Greg Herring is going to be in here. He's the new sports marketing director over at East Carolina. He's going to be my guest Monday night.
Looking forward to that. Awesome. All right, we'll see you then, Morgan.
All right, Dave.
There he is, Morgan Ehlers, voice of Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. We'll take a timeout. 317-1250 is the number. Mike and Chocowinity, hang on. We'll get to you. We've had steady phone calls. Hadn't had a chance to go out to the Pirate Radio Facebook page, also the message boards to check that out. So I'll tell you what, we'll do that when we get back here on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. We're going to enjoy some wings over Greenville. You do the same. Call 758-WING, and we'll rejoin you right after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank live line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by the Eye Care Center. Eye doctors you can trust. Visit the Eye Care Center near you with locations in Greenville, Washington, Williamston, Plymouth, and Morehead City. Eye Care Center, the official eye care provider of the Pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Holmes and the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show.
We are still going strong here on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. I lost track of time a long time ago. I'm not even looking at the clock anymore. 317-1250 is the number on the Vantage South Bank live line. Kevin Monroe is hanging on, so we'll talk to K-Mo in just a second. But first, Mike in Chocowinity is up. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing? Is the mayor on the phone?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, Mike. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, well, first of all, I want to tell you the best thing that ever happened to Pitt County. Thoughts you have, I want to tell you that Carolina proud to have.
I think your competitor is messing with the phone lines, Alan, or something.
Maybe, Mike, you're choppy a little bit. You want to try to dial in? We're Shirley's. You got him?
Mike, give us a call back. We lost you there.
Yep.
But, Alan, best thing to happen in Pitt County, man.
Wow.
You are.
I think Kevin Monroe's the best thing happening to Pitt County. Especially for Rose High.
Hold on. Can I do it? No flags. No flags on the plane. No flags.
What's going on, guys?
Kevin was on my show last week. He was in San Tropez.
San what?
He was in Cuba with Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Oh, God.
Had to recharge the battery.
Yeah.
Monroe.
You know what's funny about that, B, is that as soon as I got off the phone, my wife was like, why didn't you just tell all of Greenville that you were not home so they can go by and rob our house?
Gave her something else to stress about, Kevin. You know that. Yeah. What do you think, man? Interesting. For game one, it's all out there for everybody to see. Everybody has expectations. What did you see tonight?
You know what? I still have questions. Obviously, I love what I saw from Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, Devon Grayson, Isaiah Jones, Danny Webster. I thought the passing game was as good as it's ever been before. I mean, Shane Carden he looked to be as confident and comfortable as any quarterback we've ever had under center. And every pass, he completed 85% of his passes. Every pass was on the money or just a little bit off, and receivers were making catches. I never felt like he was going to throw an interception. There was a couple of tip balls that had a chance to be picked off, but there were still, for the most part, good passes. So I really felt good about the passing game. The offensive line, I thought, did pretty good. It was tough sledding running game. They had some big guys up front, right in the middle of that defensive line, going over 300 pounds. So it was tough to find some holes in there. But the offensive line, certainly in the passing game, did a great job. Defensively, it's hard to say. The jury's still out. I'm not ready to say that the defense is not good, but certainly they didn't play the expectation maybe that we had for game one. I think everyone knew that Taylor Heineke was he's the Walter Payton Award winner a year ago in FCS football, and so we knew what to expect from him. We knew they were going to score points, I don't know that we thought they were going to score as many points or be as successful as they were. So I think that's a little bit disappointing. But I say, hold out until Thursday. See what Florida Atlantic does on this defense. See if we bounce back. See if we play a little bit better against an offense that won't be as prolific as Old Dominion was today. So overall, I feel pretty good. We still won by 2 touchdowns, and I like to see the defense come up with a couple stops, and that defense touchdown was great. So they came away with a nice victory, and that's all you want to get out of game one.
Kevin, as you said, we've only seen game one, but we talked about this a lot last year, and we've got calls on it tonight. Just want to get your thoughts on it, about the secondary, about defenders playing, off the ball, 8 yards off the ball. Did you expect that we'd see a little more aggressive play out of the corners under Rick Smith? And again, it's only game one, but what do you think about that?
Well, and I went through this as a player myself. Sometimes you get in these games where it looks like, because they're completing a lot of passes, that they're all going outside and they're on the corners. That wasn't necessarily the case. They threw a lot of passes in the seams, in the slots. And so a lot of guys that were catching balls were lined up on linebackers, catching balls in front of safeties. I actually thought the corners played okay. They didn't let guys get behind them for the most part, except for the one deep ball on top of the freshman. But for the most part, the corners, they played pretty tough. When the balls were caught in front of them, they were right there to make the tackle. They did toe off sometimes a little bit too fast, but a lot of the fast plays came in the seams, and that's where you got to have linebacker help. You got to have safeties ready to react quickly. There was a touchdown call on a slant route where I thought Joshua Hawkins was in great position. He was on the back shoulder of the receiver, and David Magazoo dove right at the ball right as it came in there. But the Taylor Heineke threw it so perfect that it just fit right in between 2 guys. So when you have a good quarterback throwing like that, it really doesn't matter where defensive backs are lining up. He's going to find a way to make plays. Now, I do wish that we'd had a little bit better pressure on him a little more often and try to keep him in that pocket, not let him move around so much and buy so much time. But I'm not ready to say that the corners played too soft. There weren't a ton of passes going outside. There were a lot of passes going in the middle.
Good thoughts, and we did a lot of drag routes, a lot of linebackers trying, and to their credit, ODU, Kevin, did a good job looking for matchups, matching up speed guys, and sometimes we all look at a cornerback and realize, well, maybe the safety should have been over top, right? And Taylor extended plays a lot. Defense is kind of like riding a bull. You got that, you're trying to get out of there before you get thrown off.
You got 8 seconds is a good.
You got 8 seconds. If you're going to win the PBR, then sometimes it get a little difficult.
That's right. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of people say, well, why didn't we blitz more? Why didn't we put more pressure on them? And I agree with that, but I think coaches starting to feel like, hey, we're sending 2 or 3 guys at him, and they're missing him. Now, all of a sudden, that's 2 or 3 guys we don't have in coverage. So I think they kind of felt like, okay, maybe I'll let him get a little bit more time to throw, but at least we'll have guys back there to cover the football, and we can tackle them when they catch it. So it was kind of, 6 one, half dozen the other as to whether we blitz them or not. I still think we should have dialed up a few more blitzes. But every time we were going at him, we were missing him, and he was buying more time and completing passes.
Hey, Kevin, we talked about this on the air and off there a little bit. We said that if Old Dominion was actually in Conference USA this year, they'd probably be top 3 or top 4 team with what Conference USA has. Probably behind us, Marshall, Tulsa. What's your feelings on that? I mean, I think they're a legit team. I think they would take some of these teams, FIU, FAU. I think they could beat some of these guys.
Now that I've seen them play, there's no question. I mean, I thought going into the game that they would be pretty weak defensively. And they didn't do a great job against our offense. Obviously, we put up 40-some-odd points and almost 500 yards of offense. But I thought they hung in there pretty good. It wasn't like we were able to just pull away from them. So defensively, they lost, 5 starters last season. They still have some growth to do, but they did a great job against our rushing game. And they held in there. I mean, if it hadn't been for the offense giving up a defensive touchdown, it would have been right there going down to the last play. So I give them a lot of credit. I think you're exactly right. And we're obviously one of the best teams, if not the best team in Conference USA, at least coming into the season. So I think they'd be right there in the top 3 or 4 teams.
Kevin Monroe joining us here on the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Call-In Show. Kevin, thanks for staying up late with us and lobbing us a phone call and giving us your insights. We always learn something. We've been doing the show like 3 hours, and we learn new stuff when we talk to you. So we appreciate your insight, man, and we'll talk to you again Thursday night.
Hey, no problem, guys. I enjoyed it. I'll add a couple things. The guy that got cut off talking about the mayor, that's a shame. We want to say a lot of good things about the mayor. The second thing, Morgan, he definitely should have been saying the R's. Forget about the man. Don't let the man hold you down. Say your R's.
The man.
The man holding you down. There you go.
All right, guys. Talk to you on
Awesome stuff from Kevin Monroe here on the U.S.
I like the Kevin past midnight phone call.
Yeah.
The midnight came up.
I think Kevin was like in his back seat with his driver driving. He had like a cigar. He had like a cigar.
Cavassier.
Yeah, he had a cigar. Excuse me, dial 317-1250 for me, please. Thank you.
Put it on speaker.
And by the way, Kevin, I like your Michael Irvin mink coat that you wore to the game, too.
Yeah.
Kevin's big time, man.
He is.
All right, we'll take a timeout here on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. Josh Graham has cut up some Ruffin McNeil audio for us.
Cuts.
And I promise, when we come back, I'll read your messages on the Pirate Radio Facebook page, a couple on the message boards as well. So we'll do that when we return on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show right after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by Michaels and Gateway Family Dentistry, transforming lives one smile at a time. Ask about sedation dentistry and fast braces when you call Dr. Michaels and Gateway at 752-1600. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Homes, and the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show.
We have had steady calls all night here on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. Hadn't had a chance to read any messages from the Pirate Radio Facebook page. We'll do that right now. Derek May says we need to run the ball some more. 54 passes to 19 run plays. Need more balanced offense. Tonight the pass worked, and you guys talked about it. The short passes sometimes are the runs. Moving forward, wouldn't mind seeing a little more of a balance, though, so he's got a point there. Brandon Murphy says, I'll say the defense was a little disappointing, but their quarterback won the Heisman Equivalent Award in the FCS last year. He was very impressive. I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day. Kyle Barber says, with all the FCS upsets this weekend, you won't hear this guy, bitch. So, all right. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah. How many was there total? Like
it's
6?
Late. I think we...
Spayed or neutered.
I think we're good. David Matthews says, AT, you saw this one off the air. I'm calling it now. ODU beats Maryland next week, and it won't be an upset.
How about that? Well, Maryland's pretty good. If they knock Maryland out, then we can. It's often 3 or 4 weeks before. Just like when you have the top 20.
Yeah.
You know, they rank people a top 20 week when you don't really know what you've done until around week 3 or 4. Smoke starts to settle in a bit, and if they beat Maryland, then we'll be able to look back at this one as a quality win.
You got to remember, Maryland beat FIU today. Now, no disrespect to FIU, but
they took care of business. They beat them like a draw.
Predicted like last in football.
So there's some comments from the Pirate Radio Facebook page. We go. I knew this guy had to call in at some point. AT.
Here he is.
But the thing is, it looks like he's on East Coast time. It's Bryce from L.A., but he's calling us from Atlanta.
He's lost.
What's up, Bryce?
Hey, boys, how y'all doing? Calling y'all from beautiful uptown Buckhead, Georgia, and I'm in the back of an SUV with 3 Alabama girls from the football game today. I apologize I wasn't at our home game, but I was filming a movie down here, so here we are. And I just want to prove it. Hey, girls, what do you say, roll Bama?
Hey, Pirates and Bama. That's a good combination.
Roll Bryce.
Call it the year.
He is rolling.
Picture me rolling, boys.
We'll be expecting text pictures later, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, check Troy's phone, all right?
Did you get any of the game, or were you mesmerized by the Tide this evening?
Well, you know, I tell you what, man, I had one eye on the screen and the other eye on the Crimson, that's for sure. No, it was, man, you know, look, it's a tough game. People forget that Old Dominion's quarterback threw for over 700 yards in a game last year, and that's impressive on any standard. I heard Steve McNair was pretty good in college, too, and he used to do the same thing in college. He turned into a pretty good pro, so I think we were lucky that their starting running back was not playing today, and I think a lot of people already said it today, but probably would have helped if we had Ventavious Maximus Decimus Meridius Cooper out there. I'm still sticking to that nickname. I don't care what you say. But Cooper, I would like to see him run a little bit more. And hey, look, it's a win, man. You know, I mean, did anybody complain when we would beat Houston? 50-42? No. So it's a win against a high-powered offense, and I'm glad we won. So there.
You're right. I mean, it was definitely a video game type event, and it was a great one to watch. Two really good quarterbacks and performing, really the dominant performance by two really good quarterbacks. I mean, Shane threw for 447 yards. Are you kidding me? 40. How many completions? Just ridiculous numbers tonight.
So hey, look, I'm proud of Shane. I'm proud of those guys. They could have been run out of the building, and they really dug deep. So good for them. Good for Coach Connors for keeping them fit. And I'm looking forward to FAU. I just hope they keep their legs about them, because FAU is not a pushover. And I just look forward to. I just hope they can hold up for next week.
Look, if you're East Coast, you're a quick road trip away from a Thursday night game here in DF. So give it a thought, Bryce.
I'm going to be in Cincinnati. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of production, and I really today we were supposed to be an off day, and I was like, ooh, I get to Greenville, and then we had to fly somebody down, and I couldn't do it. So it sucks. I know that sounds so stupid, douchebag Hollywood, and I apologize. But
you can always shoot B-roll here in Greenville at any time. You can make it work.
Have you thought about
the lingo, baby?
Have you thought about putting Kevin Monroe in one of your movies
with a Cavassier?
Kevin is, he's really stepped up.
Coat,
the Kevin Monroe story. I'm just saying, it's out there.
Hey, can we do one of those 30 for 30 commercials?
Yeah, we'll do it, Kevin.
Nice.
Guys, thanks. Guys, I'm looking forward to a great season and talking to y'all a lot, and I'm going to try to make it down for a game as long as my shooting schedule allows me. And I'm looking forward to a fun year, and, go Pirates.
All right, Bryce. Have fun tonight, Bryce.
See you, man. Roll Tide.
I will.
All right, there he is. Bryce Spielberg joining us here on the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter Call-In Show. Bryce always getting his 2 cents in on every game. I'll tell you what, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We got comments from Ruffin McNeil,
Ventavious Maximus,
Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, and Damon Magazoo. So we'll do that when we return on the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter Call-In Show after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by Michaels & Gakwe Family Dentistry, transforming lives one smile at a time. Ask about sedation dentistry and fast braces when you call Dr. Michaels & Gakwe at 752-1600. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Homes and the U.S. Cellular Fifth Quarter call-in show.
We're still going strong. Clip Brock, Alan Thomas, B. Page, Shirley Rhodes taking your calls. Josh Graham cut up the audio for us, working hard behind the scenes. 317-1250 is the number on the Vantage South Bank live line. Right now, we are going to hear from the head man himself, Ruffin McNeil, as Ruffin talked about East Carolina's 52-38 victory over Old Dominion tonight to start the season 1-0. Here's what Coach Ruff had to say after the win.
That was a great win. I was proud of our group. I was proud of our team. I was proud of the way we hung in there. First game is always tough anywhere, but to come out with a victory was I was very proud of our group. There was a lot of teams last night that did not come out on the top. This team hung in there. From the very beginning, I've said that Bobby does a great job of coaching. The only ones that didn't say that were maybe somebody outside the program. We watched film. We know Taylor was a great quarterback, had the ability to extend plays, did a good job, but our team hung together. I'm very proud of them. I thought our special teams did a great job of maintaining and giving us an upper edge tonight. I was very proud of that unit. Offense stayed in there. Defense made some plays. Still some room to work. Short week. Got to make those adjustments quick.
How important was the Ty Holmes scoop and score after the Gabe Willard forced fumble to start the third quarter, Coach?
Well, I was happy for that. We needed that. Tyrone has a way of getting his hands on the ball. So I was proud of that. And there were some plays I know we wish we could have back, but we need to contain the quarterback better, stay encouraged, but the kids kept fighting, never lost confidence.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Shane Carden's record-breaking performance tonight?
Shane, that's his gift. Nowadays, you can't just sit and be in one place as a quarterback. You won't make it nowadays. Teams are too good. So to have a quarterback like Taylor, like Shane, to be able to extend plays is key now. So Shane did a good job for us tonight. did a good job leading us and, led us to victory.
Justin Hardy, as advertised, 16 catches, 191 yards. Coach, what about his performance?
Justin was All-American and a Blitnikoff Award winner. He does what receivers do in this offense when they mature. I'm sure there's things he can get better, but I was proud of Justin. But I think it's a part of him and maturing and understanding how hard he worked paid off tonight.
Coach Ruff, ready to give the Blitnikoff to Justin Hardy, please.
That was breaking news.
Award winner. Coach, finally, assess your defensive performance tonight.
Well, I thought they did some positive things. I thought there were some things they'll probably look at film and say we can do better. I thought they hung in there. With Taylor, he can make you look different because you got to contain him. And we'll watch film and see what happened, but really just based from eyeballing it, I was proud of the way our guys kept fighting. But there were some things like maybe rush lanes or those things that we can correct. But the win is the win, and everybody won tonight. There was no one side that did this or that. I thought it was a total team effort.
ECU head football coach Ruffin McNeil will take a timeout here on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show. We still got to give our Morgan Printers performance of the game, also the Brown and Wood drive of the game, and we'll hear from Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, and Damon Magazoo when we return on the fifth quarter after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live Line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by CPW's in Adavola Market Cafe, CPW's in the Stanton Square Shopping Center, and Adavola Market on Red Banks Road. Pirates supporting pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Homes, and the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in show.
All right, things like that happen when it's, what time is it, 1 o'clock?
12:56.
Clip Brock, B. Pays, Alan Thomas, Josh Graham hanging out, Shirley Rhodes still taking your calls, 317-1250. Shirley, let's see what Shane Carden had to say following tonight's football game. What a performance by Shane Carden tonight. And let me pull up his numbers on the UB stat sheet real quick before we hear him talk, if I can get my phone to work here. Shane Carden, 46 of 54, 447, 5 touchdowns, no picks for Shane. And what was it like going head-to-head with another talented quarterback, Taylor Heineke?
Well, I mean, it's not me versus him. It's our teams versus our teams. I'm not playing head-on-head to him. It's not like, Troy, where it's just one guy sent out, versus one guy. But, I mean, he's a great guy. I met him during media day. He's a great guy. We talked a little bit after the game, and, I hope him the best the rest of the season.
Shane, did you know you broke your own school passing record tonight?
I had no idea, man. Someone kind of mentioned to me after the game, said you broke the old guy's record. I said, well, the old guy, I guess, wasn't good enough. So, just continuing to grow and get better, and, hopefully next week I can break it.
Shane, did you have any idea you would throw 54 passes in tonight's game?
I did not. We came out, we knew that they were going to come at us maybe a couple of different ways, and it's just kind of the way our offense started rolling and the passing game was rolling, and we just took it. Old guy.
Whoa, now. All right, I guess I should tell people that Josh Graham has taken over for Shirley Rhodes.
He's on the board.
Oh, this is awesome.
He was over there practicing the wobble.
Oh, man.
Josh, were you sampling? What were you doing right there?
We got great stuff going on the U.S. Cellular fifth quarter call-in shows. We almost hit 1 o'clock.
Josh Farrell Graham.
Yeah. Let's see. Josh, let's go Justin Hardy 1. Playing the same position, the wide receiver position. What type of players are Isaiah Jones and Devon Grayson?
Oh, those guys are great. They bought into the system when they first came in. They listen to the old guys like me, Reese, and the old guys. They listen to us, and we know we're going to put them in the right spot, to be best they can be.
Justin, is there any advice you gave them leading up to tonight?
Same advice I got, being their first game in the FIC, they're going to be a little nervous. So, I just got them to calm themselves down. Once they got their first hit, everything just seemed to flow a lot better then.
Finally, Justin, how do you assess your performance tonight?
A lot of hard work and dedication put into it, and it carry over to the field. Makes me real happy.
Alan, you notice he talked more about the other guys than he did about himself. I mean,
he doesn't talk about himself. And
how cool is it as a Wes Craven dude to see this guy walk on and the type of player, the type of guy he is?
Well, talking to him, and he's so, you hear the word humble a lot, but he really is. And I remember watching him when he first showed up here, how he followed Lance Lewis around. And if you're a smart guy, you find the smartest guy in the room, the most talented guy, and you absorb what they do.
Yeah.
And Lance took to him, and you can see the results, seeing the young talent there. But him showing up on this campus, I mean, it was just a divine thing. I think it just worked out that he could have very well ended up in Fayetteville, but Lincoln Riley saw some tape, and the rest is history.
Also heard tonight from Damon Magazoo. Damon, how do you feel the defense played tonight?
I think we did a good job. We didn't do as well as we thought, but hats off to the quarterback in that offense. They did a great job. He's a great athlete, dual threat quarterback, and we've been preparing for him, but it's hard to simulate it exactly. How good a quarterback is, and he did a great job throwing it tonight and running on the ground. So, but we came out with the win, and that's what's important.
Damon, what were some of the things you tried to do in-game adjustment-wise to help contain Taylor Heineke?
We just tried to keep him inside the pocket. We feel like he felt more comfortable once he got outside of the pocket and, could, use his feet or use his arm. And so he had two options. So we tried to keep him inside the pocket and slowly converge it and, just let the DBs, continue to cover throughout the entire game.
All right, good work, Josh, getting us those comments after tonight's 52-38 victory over Old Dominion, hearing from Coach Ruff, Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, and Damon Magazoo. Let's look at the drive of the game, brought to you by Brown & Wood, serving the Pirate Nation in eastern North Carolina for over 75 years. Compare Brown & Wood to their competition. They'll win every time. Simple as that. Brown & Wood on Greenville Boulevard and online at brownandwoodauto.com. Drive of the game, guys. How about the first drive of the game? ECU said they wanted to get off to a good start. Well, they did just that. 10 plays, 75 yards. Danny Webster had 4 catches on the drive, including the last one for a touchdown. Justin Hardy also had 4 catches on the drive. You got your 2 top receivers getting 4 catches apiece on the first drive of the game, fellas.
Well, you go to your best guns, and you take what ODU gets you, and started off well. But I think the drive for ECU really set the tone, but they responded well from ODU, and the rest, it was off to a track meet. So
yeah, I think we could have threw to Hardy
all night
100 times tonight. Yeah. He probably caught 95. He was, he was, and especially the slant play over the middle. He was wide open every time.
Hardy could be the recipient of this, the Morgan Printers Performance of the Game, brought to you by Morgan Printers. For printing performance, visit Jack Morgan and the Morgan Printers team on the corner of Red Banks Road and Evans Street in Greenville. Morgan Printers, your performance printers since 1958. Pays, who's your performance of the game?
I'll go Justin Hardy. 16, 191.
You don't need to explain it.
16 and 191.
Yeah. AT?
Well, you have such drastic numbers. It's difficult between Shane, Carden, and Hardy. Just such a distribution. A lot. Well, I'm going to have to give this time, I think, to Shane. When you put your hand on the ball every play on offense, and you don't have a running game, and you have to make it all happen, I got to go with him.
0 interceptions.
Hey.
0 interceptions, too.
AT, 16. 191.
Who delivered those 16?
16.
Hey, guys, just to mix it up a little bit, you're both right. I'm going to go with a guy that's
multiple choice, and all the answers are correct.
I'm going to go with a guy that's a true freshman, played in his first college game, had 3 touchdowns, 4 catches for 28 yards, 3 touchdowns for Devon Grayson, who came out of nowhere this offseason, rose up the depth chart, and we see why. He's the Chris Carter of ECU. All he does is catch touchdowns.
Hey.
Devon Grayson gets my performance of the game, brought to you by Morgan Printers. We have one final timeout to take. We will take it now, come back, and wrap up a long day of broadcasting here at Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. We're back on the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Call-In Show right after this.
You're listening to the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. Call in on the Vantage South Bank Live line at 317-1250. This hour of the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter postgame call-in show is brought to you by the Eye Care Center. Eye doctors you can trust. Visit the Eye Care Center near you with locations in Greenville, Washington, Williamston, Plymouth, and Morehead City. Eye Care Center, the official eye care provider of the Pirates. Now, back to the Pirate Radio studios, built by Bill Clark Holmes and the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter call-in show.
It is 1:09 in the a.m., and we are still talking football here on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. How great is that? And how great is it that football is back? While we were coming back on, Northwestern had a pick six. You would have thought we were all 4.0 students at Northwestern. We were going crazy in here because football is back, fellas.
Yeah, good to see the big guy rumble down the field, and it is good to be back in here with you guys. Seemed like it was just yesterday, Clip, but we're back at it. And
I tell you what, it's going to seem like it's tomorrow, Alan, because we'll be back here Thursday night.
Yes, quick turnaround and exciting things planned for Thursday night here in Dowdy-Ficklen.
You care to expand on that?
Just stay tuned.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if AT wanted to drop any news.
I just want to say Jay-Z had an album.
Oh, boy.
In 2002.
Now we're dropping
2003.
Oh, man.
And that's your hint.
I just got the DVR power save button. You know it's late when that shows up on the TV, so we got to get out of here. But once again, thanks to everybody involved in today's shows, both pregame and postgame. Winslow's for the pregame food. And guess what? It's not too late to call Wings over Greenville. 758-WING. Call them right now and get your postgame food. We enjoyed it here. We'll enjoy it Thursday night as well. Final thoughts, Pays?
Good to have the win. A lot of schools lost to some FCS teams today, so
Absolutely.
Good to have the win.
Josh Graham.
Same reiteration there. Getting the win is important. The offense seems like it's right on track, and Shane Carden never looked more comfortable.
Alan Thomas.
Record-breaking night. Still questions. Stay tuned for Thursday from defense.
1-0. We'll see you Thursday. Shirley, great job. We got here Saturday in the a.m. We're leaving Sunday in the a.m., but that's how we do it here at Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. We'll see you Monday, 4 o'clock, the Sports Bar, live at 5, Extra Point, Brian Bailey Show. Huge lineup coming your way Monday on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930. We'll see you Thursday on the Bud Light pregame tailgate, 3 o'clock, East Carolina FAU. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the U.S. Cellular 5th Quarter Postgame Call-In Show. Join us next time for complete postgame coverage of East Carolina football, exclusively on Pirate Radio 1250 and 930, the voice of the Pirate Nation.